Welcome to Movie and a Beer, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this wonderful evening here in Portland, Oregon. My name is Dan Kapersky, and tonight we have our two usual wonderful co-hosts.
The drinking and not paying for expert, Blake Hunt.
And movie expert. I'm not a movie expert. I'm just kidding. I'm Randall.
Hey.
You're the honesty expert.
I'm honest. I'm just
Calling it like it is.
calling it like it is.
So tonight's episode, we actually just watched a movie, and we're going to talk about the 3 beers we sampled while we watched it. Mm-hmm. And it was an interesting selection. We wanted to kind of do something new. In the age of COVID, you really have some limited selection on new films and shows.
A little bit. God bless all those studios who are putting stuff out that they've either been sitting on or they were like wrapping up filming and thought, well, we make a lot more in a theater, but let's get something. Let's get it out there.
Push it out now.
Have you guys seen Black Widow yet? It's so good.
How dare you? I am upset. I'm always upset by how Disney Plus hasn't. You know what? This isn't the episode.
That's not the episode. We watched this IFC, so International Film Channel.
Oh yeah, it was.
Put this production out called Tesla, and I believe it was filmed last year before all the COVID stuff happened.
But it looks like they could have filmed it during COVID because they shot a lot of it in front of a green screen, or what was it?
Kind of like a backdrop.
Like stage production.
Like a stage backdrop.
It was projected.
I described it to the guys because I saw the previews and I was like, well, it kind of mixes like theater stage production with actual filmmaking. And it's just interesting. I mean, I thought it was an interesting production. It was a biopic pic of Nikola Tesla.
Well, according to IMDb, it's a biography drama, which kind of feeds into what you were saying. It's like kind of a stage production, but like it tells his story and...
It tells a story, but it tells it from who knows how true it is or not, because no one really knows. He is a mystery.
Well, according to the facts I pointed out from the epic rap battles of Edison versus Tesla, some facts come up. The $50,000.
Yeah. There's some known things, like he owed people money or he begged for money, and he had these great ideas and he had some interesting inventions, and he was the man who patented and came up with alternating current, which is what everything uses.
Yep.
Whereas Edison was looking for direct current, and that was way more dangerous. And
was direct current more dangerous? I thought it was alternating current was more dangerous.
You're buying into Edison's lies.
You're buying into Edison's lies. Yes, the film.
I believe we used direct current because that's what won out, and that's what everyone pays for.
Wait, we use direct current, or we?
No, we use alternating current. AC. Everything is AC. Only DC is used on high voltage. Situations.
That's right. And AC DC is used to rock out.
Yes. Folks, Angus Young can teach you how to rock out if you just listen and give it a moment.
On the highway to heck.
Yes. So we watched this film. It's a biopic. Online you can find it. Really great performance by Ethan Hawke.
Kyle MacLachlan as Edison.
Yes.
Is particularly good.
There was a lot of really famous actors in it.
Like the guy who played J.P. Morgan, whose name I will never be able to pronounce again. I looked him up. He was never a big starring role in anything. He was really good in this.
Really, really good.
I wasn't really impressed.
And Jim Gaffigan. I mean, come on. Chubby Jim Gaffigan with a crazy stash. Facial hair.
I'm pretty sure
I'm jealous.
I don't think he's that heavy set in the neck.
Well, you never know, man. You do things for money.
That's true.
Including get chubby like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Or like at least me.
No. It's COVID world.
Sympathy, COVID chub.
Take it, take
the
it easy on yourself.
COVID-15.
It's a rough time for everybody.
It is the COVID-15. Add it and not subtract.
But I just want to also call out a particular notice to Eve Hewson, who played Anne Morgan, J.P. Morgan's daughter, who's a big role in the movie.
Yeah, she had she was basically the narrator of most of the film. Mm-hmm. And it was told from her perspective.
Occasionally using a laptop?
So that was the cool thing. It mixed different pieces of current technology, and like she pushed open her Apple laptop and said, if you do a Google search, you will find 16 point some million results if you look for Edison and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay. And your response to that was, what, did a millennial get a hold of this?
Yeah, I believe what I said was, if a group of millennials got hold of an art house film and just
wrecked it.
Yeah. In a good way. Like, I'm not disparaging the film. I liked it, I think.
No.
It was
hated it.
The film was very specific.
It was. And I apologize to the guys because I was like, hey, let's watch this cool, like the previews look kind of interesting and stuff.
We
and
tried a new thing. We
need to rip on something because we haven't really ripped on any films in a while. And this one definitely deserves some ripping, even though it did have good acting. The story was interesting. It was just slow as hell. And really took a lot of it. We picked beers that we thought would either be interesting to go with it, but it ended up like this film. I don't think any beers go with it.
We can get into what we thought matched in the back half, but I feel like at least one of them clicked okay.
Yeah,
there are parts based on like the themes of the film, like how they shot it, cinematography.
The cinematography was good.
I feel like that's what matched with the one beer I was raving about. Like, I think this went well. Parts of this movie, I'm stammering because I have a hard time trying to wrap my head around this film. Parts of the movie are great. The movie as a whole could be better.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I would
Metacritic
agree.
gave it a 68, which is pretty favorable.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, the acting was good. The story is interesting. It was just weird because of the visuals and how they mishmashed the storytelling. Kind of, it was linear, somewhat.
Yeah.
It covered a period of his life, not the whole life, but from when he worked for Edison on till
I guess
later in life. But he was a hermit for like the last 20 years.
Which
what did he do?
Luckily, it's kind of hard to film. Interestingly, a hermit.
And he had some interesting. You want to believe the characters. You want to believe that they're really honest and being truthful to who they are and what they're doing. And yes, as I was explaining to the guys, I'm like, he gave everything away. He died a penniless, just hermit. He had no money, even though he had all these patents and stuff. He gave all the royalties and the rights away to the companies because that's what the business people running those companies told him to do. And he's like, I'd rather see my inventions
Just
out there
and
available and not care about the money. Unlike Edison, who was only about the money, didn't care about anybody.
He died a rich man.
He did. Can't take it with you, though.
No, that's true.
I mean, the Pharaohs did, but they had a whole life hack thing.
Yeah.
If you guys pay me $20 each, I'll get you involved in the scheme that involves pyramids.
Oh, free energy for everybody through the pyramids.
Zap, zap.
Sirens of Titan on Metacritic gave this movie a 2.
Wow.
Sirens, no.
It's like a History Channel documentary with a terrible narrator.
Well, I mean, she wasn't the best narrator, but at least she tried.
She
matched
the tone of the film.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not a bad film. So we're kind of waffling on it. If we're going to go ahead and pass along to the beer section of this,
I'd be okay with that
because we I think we're all in agreement that this was a challenge to watch. We picked it because we wanted to do something different, and I'm glad we did it.
I like Ethan Hawke.
Like I said, the acting was interesting. It was a period piece. They were in costume. Some of it was shot within what you would call a
soundstage.
A soundstage, so kind of like theater based. And some of it actually takes place in a theater.
Yeah, that's a good point. It does.
Yeah.
I didn't know who anybody was in this film except for Tesla and Edison.
Really?
I mean, I knew J.P. Morgan, but all of those the actress, who the heck
the
was
secondary
actress?
characters.
Secondary, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
a lot of stuff happened a long time ago.
Yes, it did. I mean, it's like we take for granted.
Randall's our new history expert.
We take for granted all the stuff that happened.
Stuff happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Stuff happened.
So at this point in time, I think, are we ready to chat about some beers? Should we take a quick commercial break? All right. Welcome back to Moving to Beer, everybody. And we're going to discuss the beers that we tried with the film Tesla, which was actually an IFC independent release. We're kind of waffling about
that
the film.
Explains it.
Yeah. Okay. So we started out. We had 3 beers, 2 that we all tried, and one that 2 of us tried, and one did not have an opportunity to because it was so bad. He chose not to try it.
Like alternating current. Grr. I hate it.
Or that
so the
Tears
Tesla
for
movie
Fear cover.
Yeah, the Tears for Fear cover just
mean
kind of threw us all for a loop at the end, and we were just like, "What the hell did we just see?"
That's good writing. Like, how do we end this thing? This has no plot.
It doesn't really have
an
a plot.
idea.
It's just a biopic.
Let's do.
So the biopic
do you say
doesn't have a
biopic
meaning.
or biopic.
I say biopic because that's what that was. I was told when I saw the reviews.
Okay. Like
So
it's biography picture.
Biography
So that's what it
picture,
stands
so
for?
biopic.
Biopic. Okay.
Yeah, so semi-fictional, semi-autobiographical. It's not autobiographical because the guy never wrote anything about himself.
Right. Unless
or,
you
or
count.
if he did, it was all confiscated by the CIA.
And there was that great shot of Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about
He got
that.
signals from Mars. He was one of the first people to
Oh,
actually
man.
get
Oh,
electronic signals from
yeah.
Mars.
For him.
And he's like, oh, it's the Earth getting a signal from another planet. I'm all about it. All right, so
So the beers.
enough about the crazy movie we just watched. We're going to talk about these 3 beers. So the first one was Oakshire. It's a seasonal release called No Ghosts. And it was a Gosa that is, let's just say, really interesting, very dry.
It was very dry.
What color was it?
It was neon green. It's finished on tangerine puree, orange juice, and it's a light neon green color. The foam is actually also green. So that's the really super amazing thing about this beer. I was like, I've never seen that. That is a new one for me.
Green
Yeah,
foam.
yeah. Typically, actually, that's a good chance for a question. Dan, what makes the foam change color? Do you know for a beer? Because we've always seen like foam be white. in
Yeah,
most beers
it's
we
either going to be
drink.
white or tan, depending on the malt characters. And because this is just a Gosa, which tends to have a really thin malt anyway to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, they must have poured a whole bunch of puree and stuff on it, and that's just going to color it. It's like food coloring.
What color is green exactly?
Green is a combination
Delicious.
of blue and yellow. I mean, it depends. Are you talking about? So
What is yellow?
should we talk about that?
Yellow is happiness.
Perceived color versus what real color is.
This entire podcast should have had no plot. We should have totally rambled.
And we're rambling now, but that's
I mean,
okay.
I'm reining in the ramble. If you want me to go, man, I'll let the horses
It's
loose.
sprinkling outside, and we're talking about this neon green beer from
Smells
Oakshire
delicious
called No
outside.
Ghost. So it actually was a really nice thinner body Gosa. So up
Yeah.
front, it had a bit of tartness.
I'd agree
Not
with that.
offensive. I mean, it's not
was
overly
great.
juicy, and it dried out on the back. It actually left a little bit of dry bitterness on the back when I finished. When I was like, after I drank like half of a glass, I was like, and spilled half a glass on me. But it happens. I'm glad we had 4 of them instead of just 3.
Well, that was a curse. That was the curse.
That was the curse of the film, and of my opening this can
Wasn't
of
he in
beer.
love with the canary?
He was.
Oh man.
Why would they leave that out of the movie?
I know. How did that not make it in the film? I was waiting for it the entire
Yeah.
time.
All right, so I think all really appreciated the Gosa. I
liked it.
And if you can seek out this Oakshire beer, you can find it. This was purchased here in the neighborhood at Cerveza on North Killingsworth. Wonderful place to get good, interesting beers.
Accurate.
4-pack, not terribly expensive. I think it was like $10 or $11. Really good beer. The second beer that we tried was Founders out of, I believe it's Michigan.
Yeah, I feel like you were saying Michigan when we were
Yeah.
looking them over before.
Grand Rapids, Michigan. So this is
Wow.
so
so non-Oregon
the
beer.
Gosa. So the Gosa is a normal pint, so it's a tall boy. But this Founder's Gold is an additional like 2 inches above it. It's a 19.2 fluid ounce
For big boys who are thirsty for beer.
solid gold. So this is a traditional American adjunct lager, and it's
It's fine.
very clean.
I like it.
It had no weird flavors, and it was actually pretty cheap. I think it was like $2 a can, and you're getting like an imperial pint
Wow,
size.
that's a
And
great
for a cheap
bargain.
4%, 4.5% beer that doesn't taste bad, yeah, I'd go with it. I'd go with that before I'd go with a, I don't know, PBR or something.
Definitely. Oh my God. Any day of the week.
Agreed.
PB, no thank you.
Yeah. So
PB, are you kidding me?
So I'm really glad that Founders out of the Midwest. We've now here in the Portland metro area also started getting variations of Founders beers because
That's awesome.
everyone is canning everything and putting it out.
Is
That's
it
how
true
we-
there's a shortage of cans?
There's an aluminum shortage, and because of just the supply chain being crap right now, a lot of breweries who've been putting out one-off beers, which is what this Oakshire is, they would never have normally put this beer out because it's so weird.
Dan,
It's a really weird beer.
explain what supply chain means.
Supply and demand. So there's people that actually go out and dig in the dirt and dig up the minerals to
And
make
that's
aluminum.
supply chain.
And then the aluminum foundry makes the aluminum, and there's not enough of it. So
Is it wrong that I thought you were going to say in the Illuminati?
in the Illuminati. No, so here's the offshoot. The Akashic record was actually mentioned by Tesla
Oh boy, here we go.
in the movie, and I'm all about the ancient aliens, and I've seen
It's
enough
true.
episodes about Tesla to know a few things, and I was actually educating these gentlemen, and I'm telling you, he knew he was in touch with it. He believed in it. He's a believer. Are you a believer?
I believe.
Do you believe?
This movie's real?
I believe I want this podcast to episode end.
I believe.
Quickly and shortly. All right. So we all really enjoyed Solid
They
Gold by
invented
Founders.
Wi-Fi,
Premium.
right? The aliens.
Premium. It's all.
Pretty
It's
much.
5G. It's 5G,
They
not the
invented
Wi-Fi.
5G.
They invented 5G.
Right.
Nope, never mind.
Yeah. So you do know that the CIA claimed and took all of his papers and records when he died in New York, all alone in his little apartment,
Why would they want it?
because there's free power, and they don't want free power for everybody. That's my plug.
That would mess things up.
Okay, so the third and final beer we tried. I'm just going to cut you all off because I'm like, we want to get this done because it's humid in here now. Ooh, it rained a little bit ago. Now it's humid in here. So we have Socks and Sandals which is a New England style IPA from Stickman Brewing Company. And Stickman was originally based out of Lake Oswego here in Oregon, out of, southeast of Portland. It's a really interesting, really funky, hard, not starter beer, New England style with a lot of flavor up front. And
There's socks on the. Are there socks?
There's socks on the can. So you've been forewarned. This
Socks
is
within sandals.
Socks and
Gross.
sandals.
Wow.
This is not a starter beer.
It's in the name. Why would you buy that? Who would buy that?
I had it before at the brewery itself. I didn't remember it being this harsh.
It got better as it warmed up. Why is that? Why would this beer get better as it warms up?
We can briefly talk about that again. So beer, as it changes temperature,
Gotcha.
releases more or less of the chemicals that are in it. It becomes less flat, or becomes more flat, less
flat.
CO2. More CO2 tightens the beer, makes it effervescent, makes it dance on your tongue, makes it jump around and make your taste buds go off. If it's flatter, like, some beers are actually naturally flat because they're not terribly conditioned or don't have a lot of CO2 pumped into them, they're going to have a flatter flavor profile, which means that the flavors in and of themselves are going to be more true to what they're supposed to be. So this one does have a lot of that going on. And it's really funky. This is a hard beer.
It's funky, but I liked it when it warmed up a bit better.
Yeah. It's really harsh up front. So this is a hazy IPA, 6.3%. It's got this really interesting pink label with yellow legs, socks, and Birkenstock sandals like half of us in this room
I
wearing.
think it went perfect with this movie.
It was horrible. It wasn't horrible. It was challenging like the movie. Yes,
challenging.
It was
got
challenging
better
like the movie.
as
I have it here in this glass. And now that it's warmed up, it's worse.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
It's like,
Yeah.
I do not like the funk that comes with doing wild yeast or natural yeast or some sort of funkiness. This beer's got a lot of funk.
It's got a lot of. Are there beers that are good cold? Like should you? Drink
most
beer cold?
lagers
Or
are
should-
supposed to be cold, right?
Lagers
Yeah.
need to be drunk
That-
cold.
that's why, like-
you don't want them to warm up
Okay.
because
And,
they taste like crap.
They taste.
Yeah,
bad.
they're made
Yeah.
to be cold. Like a lot of American adjuncts. I love that Coors, their whole ad campaign is, look how cold the can can get.
The can turns blue.
They have the
Because
hypercolor can. Remember
'cause it tastes-
Yeah, hypercolor.
Oh,
can, yes.
yeah.
So good.
Yep.
So
Did Tesla invent the hypercolor too? Did he invent that?
he did, but
I
they couldn't
do
fit
not
it in
know.
the movie. There wasn't time.
Oh, right.
There wasn't enough time. All right, so
So-
all three of these beers. Well, actually, no. The founders actually did not come from Survey. So the founders came from Total Wine and More in Vancouver, Washington, across the river to the north, which is an
right.
interesting. I was up there and decided to stop and pick up some cans. The other one, the one that we're talking about, Socks and Sandals, did come from Cerveza, and it was also like a $10 4-pack for the tall boy. And, if you're looking for a challenging beer to go with a challenging film or a challenging situation and you just want to be offended, get this beer.
This is your episode, guys. Want to be offended?
Yeah.
But you know what? I wasn't offended about drinking bad beer and watching a bad movie with friends.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. We need to explore and
So
expand.
I good recommendation, Dan. I think this
Yeah.
it's good to. It's like this was like a palate cleanser podcast.
So we
episode.
can restart,
So you just
reboot.
come
Season
back strong.
3.
What are we watching?
We have a few
What are we watching
ideas
next?
of
Yeah,
what we're
what's
going to
next?
watch in the future, but I don't know. It's still kind of really up in the air because we've gone down a couple of paths, and now we need to, I don't know, focus again on something different or
Let's just watch
readjust. I don't
Devs
know.
again.
We can watch.
I don't hate that plan.
Could we watch a cartoon?
I really we haven't done any we did
been a while.
we did
It's back to school. What's a good back to school movie?
Akira.
The seminal film Back to School with
Akira,
Rodney
right? Yeah, totally.
Hey, we can watch Back to School. What is it? Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh my God!
Oh,
That's where he
watch
does
some
the
Rodney Dangerfield.
That's where he does
totally watch
the
that one.
armpit farts and then does the super dive.
man.
Yeah, the super dilly nelly, something like that.
It has some wild
he goes
name
off
for
of
it.
like 4
Yes.
boards on his way down and does
Yeah.
5 flips, and it's insane.
Back to school.
so good.
Next episode.
All right, well, we'll think about that, and if we do it, we'll have to come up with some crazy, weird California beers because I think that's where it was filmed, right?
Probably.
Yeah,
We'll find out.
we've been doing
Stay
a lot
tuned.
of California films, so we'll figure it out. All right, so
So final take on what to drink with this movie. Something weird, flavor forward, sour, pretty much.
sour.
Yeah.
Like sour goes perfect with this movie. I had the lager towards the back half and thought, this beer's okay.
Is it sacrilege to say a cocktail with this movie? Perhaps.
You could mix it up. This
I don't
is
think so. It's a beer movie.
This is a really weird film. I don't
Yeah.
even know if it's not even date worthy because it's
not-
boring
yeah.
and slow. And there's no
started good.
excitement.
Unless
started-
you're-
If the
your date
acting
had-
is interesting, unless your date is what? Your teacher?
Into Ethan
your
Hawke.
history teacher.
If your date's into Ethan
no.
Hawke, maybe.
Yeah, if you're
'Cause
dating
he's
Ethan Hawke
90% of the
or Kyle MacLachlan, I mean, you wouldn't kick them out of bed. Whatever. Think about it.
Dale Cooper? No, sir.
Yeah. All right. So thank you as always for listening to this episode of Movie and a Beer. We watched this interesting film, IFC film called Tesla. And I think we kind of are middle of the road to thumbs down.
You
on
mean
it.
Wasn't my frequency, folks.
Not our frequency. And we have these 3 interesting beers to go with it. And I think, we want to just say, find something if you're going to watch this film, find something a little sour and weird.
Find a friend.
Find a friend to drink it with
Yeah.
because you need to be able to complain about it to somebody.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Anybody.
All right. So thank you all for watching or listening to this episode of Movie and a Beer. And as always, Dan Kapersky wants to thank you all. And remember to hydrate or dihydrate, as our friend Blake always says.
hydrate or dihydrate fools?
Fools.
I remember what you.
Well, I mean, we always have this electricity thing going. It's like bzzz, hydrate or die because they do shock somebody to death at the end of the movie.
Oh,
and
no,
it's
okay,
like
I
kind of really
got it.
bad.
I got it.
Oh, right.
Hydrate or frydrate.
Oh, there it is. Fry. Yeah. And it took him like 3 times or 2 times to kill the guy because it just not enough current was going through him. It was,
Me
they
or Tesla?
showed it.
I mean, what?
Yeah. It
My
was like-
favorite scene was the ice cream scene.
yes. And that never really happened,
What?
but they
That
had
never
ice
happened,
cream.
but
They were licking
had an
ice cream sexually.
Fight.
It's hard to look tough while licking ice cream.
Yes, it
really-
is.
yeah.
But it was very sexual in a lot of ways. And we won't really go there, but yeah. Okay. So, Randall, any final thoughts as we close out?
Direct current, people.
Alternating or direct?
Alternate.
Alternate your direct current, everyone. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.